Hello everyone and welcome back to Magic Friday. I've been away for a while, I will not lie, but I am back in action. We got some new intro music. We got a new kind of set, my living room. Make it a little bit easier to record every week, and we should be back in action. I'm glad to be here. So without further ado, let's get started. Today's trick, well, yesterday's trick, because yesterday was Friday, is Woody Aragon's book in English. The trick that we did is a trick that pretty much everybody's talking about, and everyone's talking about it because probably everyone you know is already doing it. It's, before you read any further, how to find your other half, page 25. What the audience sees is, basically, you're gonna have 4 cards, different suits, blah, blah, blah. You are going to give 4 cards to each spectator. Can be for 1, can be for 100, can be for an entire theater. Everyone gets 4 cards. They are going to be following your instructions. You're going to get them to rip them in half, sorry. So you're going to have 8 pieces. Through a series of instructions that you're going to give them, they're going to mix them up. They're going to put 1 piece aside. You're going to tell them to do some other things. It's going to seem really random. And they're going to eliminate some pieces, basically, until they're left with 1 piece, which is going to match. If this actually matches, that would be, oh, that would have been a miracle. Anyway, it'll match for them. A miracle, really, truly. Everyone gets to take part. Everyone's going to do the motions, and it's going to match. They're going to see real magic in their hands, actually. So that's what they're gonna see. Awesome. I know so many people that are doing this. You've probably seen Eric Jones on YouTube do it for a group of people. I think it was at MagicCon or something. I've got friends that are doing it in their theater shows. It's very rare that you come across a piece of magic that an entire audience can do and they get a keepsake, which is the cards matching. How it went for me on Friday was awesome. I'm not gonna lie. It's easy. I don't want to make it sound too easy, but it's easy. I'll talk about that in difficulty. But everyone gets to play along. Everyone's surprised that the cards match in the end. That the 2 pieces match after their series of random motions. They choose to give a couple to even to the person next to them. With the pieces, it seems really impossible. So I actually don't have a single bad thing to say about this trick at all. It's freaking awesome. The difficulty is easy. If you can remember the instructions that Woody gets you to tell them, it's totally fine. There's yeah, you're not doing any triple, double shenanigan, it's really difficulty. I'm gonna 0. Best lines of the day. Everyone's almost unanimous in this. I don't know. I find lines actually have a fad. It's almost like people have, for a year, people will say awesome, and then, forget about it. Yesterday, everyone said the exact same thing. No way. No way. And that's proof that it is random. The moves that they're doing and that it does match is they can't believe it. The Angry Bob rating, for those of you new to Magic Friday, Angry Bob is a friend, co-worker, whose uncle was a magician, so he kind of knows about magic, but he hates it. He loves to tear it apart. So if he can find something out, it's the best day of his life. And if I can fool him completely, he's miserable. So our goal is to make Angry Bob miserable. Angry Bob's line, I'm always honest here, was, it's gotta be math. So, was he fooled? I mean, when people say it's gotta be math, that's almost like a blanket response that people have for when, it's almost a way of saying, I don't know. It's got to be math. I don't know. They just kind of put it into that math section of their brain. That said, though, we don't want that. You don't want them to have any you know, justification or any result. You want them to be completely empty. So, you know, you really need to eliminate the process of it all. You really want it for people to know that they have a choice. And this actually goes into the JDG tip, which is, I can pretty much guarantee you that if you do this enough times, somebody's going to mess it up. That's just a fact. Whether they didn't follow your instructions or they just weren't paying attention, someone is not going to have their pieces matched. It's not going to be often, but if you're doing it for a group of 10, you know, maybe one person. Group of 100, maybe a couple. I wouldn't say it's 10%, more like 1%, but I think of all day, I think I had like 2 people the entire day that didn't do it. But that said, we need to address that. So my tips are a couple of things. One is we need to eliminate that it must be math idea. So the way we do that, of course, is by really pressing home, you know, in the instructions when you get the effect. You know, you can take 1 piece, 2 pieces, you know, the choice is yours. I don't want there to be any sort of, you know, thought in your head that there's any sort of process. You can choose how many you want to do, and it is true for the effect. So you really need to drive that home, the word choice. They have a choice, because there is no choice in math. 2 plus 2 is 4. You don't get to choose if it's something else. So by emphasizing choice, we can eliminate that math problem. The other tip is, of course, is what do you do for the people that don't have it work? Because as our goal as entertainers is to make sure everyone's happy, and you don't want some poor guy being there with his pieces not matching, feeling terrible. So you've got to come up with a line. You've just got to come up with the backup. My line, it took me a few. I think by the end of the day, the best line I think I came up with, it was only happened that twice, but I think for the second guy, I said, "Don't worry. You know, magic is a special moment in time, and your time is coming." A little bit hokey, but you got to give him something. And in a bizarre sense, one person's failure helps the rest of the group's success. Because if it was math, everyone would get it right. So, in a way, are you hoping for one person to fail? It's a give and take. It helps the group, but you got some poor, you know, spectator not feeling the greatest. So come up with a line before you start doing this for everyone of what you're going to say if it doesn't work. You know, the stars weren't aligned, but I feel things are gonna pick up, or it doesn't work for everybody. Other things work for some, not everything works for everyone. I don't know. You come up with something. That's it. You know, Magic Friday. Short and sweet. It's easy when there's tricks that are this good. And the thing about this is you can do it for close-up, obviously. If you do it for a stage show, you would need 4 cards. If you do my kind of stage show, my average audience is around 100 people. So 400 cards, 50 cards in a deck, 52. So what's that? 10 decks? Costco, 10 bucks for an entire audience for them to keep their... I'll get one that matches here. For them to actually have it match, it's pretty good, especially if you have old junk decks around. It's great. And I should say that that effect alone is not the only thing great in Woody's book. He is awesome. He's fantastic. It's I love books. You know, DVDs are great for getting a visual on what is supposed to happen, I guess. But what's greater than pulling a book off the shelf, turning to the page, and learning? Isn't that a first world problem? I hate putting a DVD in my glorious computer and firing it up. It's just, the drama. I just prefer books. Easy. And I applaud him for writing it as opposed to making a DVD. The DVD, if he made this into a DVD, it would be probably a few hours long. But Woody Aragon, a book in English. The trick is called... Before you read any further, How to Find Your Other Half. Thanks for watching Magic Friday. I will see you next week.